Hello, today's activity is a next level activity, and I've called this next level activity Think of a Link. So what is Think of a Link? Well, it's pretty much in the name. You're going to get 2 or 3 concepts and then try and think of links between them. Now, why would we be doing this? Well, if you're learning lots of facts, if they're isolated, then it's quite hard to remember them, especially the more and more facts you have to learn. You have to keep on memorizing and repeating. If you can, it's miles better if you can think of connections between facts. Okay, that way they get all joined together and you get a deeper understanding, and you'll find that you just know these facts rather than having to go back and memorize and learn them. Now, as an example, I could give you a list of numbers and ask you to remember those numbers, and you might find that quite hard. But if I gave you the same list of numbers with a connection between them, then you'd probably find those much easier. Okay, so how do we do Think of a Link? Well, you need to find your ideas and then write them down. I've just written them down as A, B, C here. And then typically we use arrows to join them together to show the links. So I might say that A increases the amount of B, but when I get more B, it reduces the amount of C. There isn't a particular way that these need to be done, a particular shape or anything like that. That's up to you. You can experiment with it. Here we've got A uses B to make C. Then I might make it slightly more complicated. C then reduces B, and we might bring in other information. And it could get more and more complex as you go on. So what you are doing is making connections between ideas and describing them. Okay, that's just up to you how you do that. I'm going to give you a list of the different types of connections that you can have between different facts. Now, this is here really for you later on. If you want to, you can pause the video, have a look at these, just as a reference point if you're interested. As a more specific example of Think of a Link activity, I've chosen 2 statements from a health, fitness and wellbeing topic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select out 3 facts from the top statement. So the first thing to do is write down those 3 facts, and then what I'm going to do is have to think of the links between them. So if you do more exercise, I know that you're likely to get more lactic acid. So I've written my connection there. Again, I'm thinking if you get too much lactic acid, it's going to cause problems in your muscles called muscle fatigue. And then I thought, well, if your muscles are getting tired and you're getting pain from muscle fatigue, then what will probably happen is you're going to end up doing a bit less exercise. So here's all of my connections shown in a Think and Link activity. And what I thought was, I like that, but I thought there could be a few more details. So I tried to write those activities again and thought I'd have another go at it. I put the question mark just because I need to look up exactly what muscle fatigue is, and is it a direct link between lactic acid and muscle fatigue there. So these links are roughly the same. I've got the pain reducing the exercise, but I wasn't really happy with the first link. I thought I needed a bit more detail in there about how does exercise cause lactic acid. So I've linked in respiration and a specific type of respiration, which is called anaerobic respiration. And that's what causes the lactic acid buildup. So I got rid of the first link. But as you can see, you can keep on adapting this activity until you're happy with it. I then looked at the next statement and picked 4 concepts from there. And those 4 concepts were again exercise, but this time we had stroke volume, cardiac output, and HR, which I took to be heart rate. So exercise, well, I know that your heart rate goes up when you're doing more exercise. And I know that if your heart rate goes up, then your cardiac output will go up as well. So I went back to exercise and I thought, well, not only does the heart rate go up, but also the amount of blood being pumped by your heart will also go up. And again, this will have that impact on cardiac output. I'm pretty happy with those connections. The only thing I thought was missing was the explanation of the connection between exercise and blood. I know that to do exercise, you need energy, and the process that releases energy is respiration. And it's the blood that carries the oxygen and the sugar needed for respiration. So I'm now happy that I've got a pretty good activity done with lots of connections between different things. Lastly, what I wanted to show you was that you don't need to just pick the facts within the statement. I could choose facts from one statement to another and try and make those links myself. So the facts I chose were lactic acid and heart rate. And I needed to think of the link between these, so I went into a bit more detail. I know that lactic acid is caused when the oxygen levels are low, and I know that oxygen is carried in the blood, so that's my link to heart rate. So what happens is if my heart rate is high, but my oxygen levels are low because my breathing rate is low, well, that means I'm going to end up with the type of respiration that causes lactic acid. So there's a few examples. You can see they all look a bit different, and it doesn't really matter what they end up looking like. But the idea is that you just practicing and thinking of those links between facts. Well, my advice is that you do this activity whenever you can. It's a really good idea to practice thinking about those links, think about the connections between facts. It will help you have a deeper understanding and really learn those topics really well. Here's the part where it's your turn. Now, the good thing is that it's a really simple activity. So all you need to do is choose 2 or 3 facts and then think of what links those facts. Now, even though the activity itself is simple, thinking of links can be quite tricky, but that's a good thing. We want it to be a bit tricky. We want it to be a bit challenging, okay? Because that shows that you're really thinking about it. And if you're really thinking about it, you're going to get a better understanding of it. I hope you get lots of practice at doing the Think and Link activity, and thank you for watching.